This has happened a few times. I was in a province, looked around, and in my head thought loudly, this doesn't look like the Philippines. I realize now that that is probably one of the most ignorant things I could have said. The Philippines is diverse, not just its food, but its people, but also its landscapes. Bukidnon is a breath of fresh air, literally. If you're used to humid and cramped cities, coming to Bukidnon makes you want to believe that the Philippines could have its green revolution, where people care about the environment and slow, thoughtful development, where you can come to satisfy your hunger and nourish your soul. When we think of provinces in the mountains in the Philippines, we all gravitate towards Benguet, but Bukidnon should be part of that conversation. It has so much to offer. It is considered one of our food baskets, meaning that you get a ton of seasonal and diverse produce throughout the year. Because of that, during the American colonization period, they developed the area to be an important agricultural base. It is actually still the case today. The pride of the locals can be felt everywhere, from the tribes keeping their traditions alive to the farmers and their produce. There's a positive energy here that fosters a sense of identity. I started off my exploration in Kumaykay River Farm, the perfect example of a Bukidnon dwelling, unimposing, open, in line with nature. Today, it's part restaurant, part glamping, campground, pop-up space, open concert area, farm, and feels like an ever-evolving, beautifully designed DIY project that exists for its community and the people who work here. I feel like each time I come to Bukidnon, there's a really strong community bond.
In this area, yes.
In this area, because you guys are all farmers, all have the same kind of ethos.
We have the same mindset.
So this before you're saying all of this was farm.
Yeah, it's farm. Where the house is was the only place that doesn't have a greenhouse.
Is it the
nursery?
Nurseries for the lettuce?
Yeah.
So when you first started this, the first initial idea was one. It was just to live here.
Yeah.
I mean, so you had the commercial farm, and then you decided.
It was my dad's farm,
Yeah.
and I decided to build a house.
You've only set up the restaurant 2 years ago. And what was the idea there? You wanted to start a business here, or?
Yeah.
But still following kind of your philosophy on.
Yeah, always.
How you want people to appreciate this place and.
I want to keep it like that.
Yeah. JJ built his house here, close to the river, the perfect lullaby, he says. I first heard of JJ when I was shooting a series in nearby farms about 10 years ago. A young chef who cooked tasting menus in the mountains of Bukidnon from his home kitchen by invitation only. Creative minds often don't settle. The idea grew, so did the space. JJ is a collector, a pianist, an artist, and a chef. All of that culminates in how he approaches food, looking at ingredients as vehicles of flavor rather than prescribed dishes. Everything is made from scratch in collaboration with nature and his people. So what are you making today? This is the Robin Padilla?
Robin Padilla sandwich. Reuben sandwich is a Russian sandwich made with beef pastrami and sauerkraut. But this is a Filipino version.
Nice.
So we're using our smoked beef here. This has been smoked for 10 hours.
Oh, wow. So why is that such a big thing here? Like sausages, smoking?
Bukidnon a long time ago was dominated by Americans because of Del Monte.
Ah, okay.
The ham, pineapple-fed cattle.
Cattle's, yeah. So it's a strong American influence.
Influence, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what Bukidnon was really famous for.
Famous for
ham.
Correct, yeah. I mean, Bukidnon is also known for having amazing agriculture, right? There's a lot to play with, but even more, the ground's fertile enough to be able to grow different things also, right?
Yeah, it's like the food basket of the Philippines. So this is the caramel sauce. A little bit of the homemade hot sauce, homemade coleslaw.
I was trying to figure out your menu, and I feel like it's just the underlying kind of concept is just making everything from scratch. So how did you get into cooking? Like, when did you learn?
After college, my mom go to the US. I went there. So happened a cousin of mine owns a Thai restaurant. I got bored. So after like a month, like, oh man, I want to go home. No, stay there. I was an unwanted child, right? So I mean, my cousin told me like, Jay, why don't you learn how to cook? I can teach you. So that was my first lesson, you know. I worked 4 years. Then I came back to the Philippines in 2008, opened a restaurant.
So when do you think you started developing kind of like your personal style with food?
Yeah, when I did the degustation, I really had to study and somehow, work with what I have.
So is that kind of like your approach to cooking, is using what's around you?
Yeah.
How to preserve it for a longer time. So very farming kind of.
Yeah. survival.
Mindset, surviving mindset.
That's it. That's our Reuben sandwich. Enjoy.
Watching him and his team is like watching craftsmen using the best ingredients to put out their best work with skills that are developed in peace. From the breakfast setups by the river to their pizzas, they are made with care, vibrant, fresh, colorful, and a representation of their terroir. Oh, this is a cool spot. This is staring at me, so I'm gonna try this. I love how colorful this is. Let me try Mark Schultz's.
Robin Padilla.
What's kind of your hope for Bukidnon? How do you want to see it develop? Because right now it's still very much under the radar, right? Like when you think of
It is, but it's...
mountain towns in the Philippines, Baguio comes to mind.
Yes.
But I think this is quite special because it's still very
Still very raw, but
still very unknown and still very raw.
little by little, it's getting known, you know. The government, the Special Department of Tourism, they're saying like it's safe to go to Mindanao. I just hope that, you know, the government's really gonna take care of the waste management, but, you know, the forest should be protected.
Correct. I mean, for me, it's also a big thing about the type of businesses, because I'm guessing right now it's gonna be mostly local, but I feel like you can curate it, because if people come here for the nature, ideally all the businesses blend. Feels very homey.
Homey, yeah. I prefer Kumaykay to stay like that, though.
Where's the sweetness from?
From the caramel. That caramel.
Caramel. Okay, that's a good sandwich. Like,
Thank you.
I understand why Mark likes it so much. Driving along the province in the lowlands, you will see a lot of pineapples. In the 1920s, Americans brought in seeds from Hawaii, where a pest infestation was devastating their crop. It grew from there and became the base of operation for Dole. But before all of that, Bukidnon is really the home of the Lumads, some of the original inhabitants of the country. There are still 7 hill tribes in Bukidnon. All of them are fighting to preserve their traditions, through their music, their tattoos, and their way of life.
I'm Paolo Cañete po. I'm a local tour guide here in Impasugong po and brand ambassador na rin po ng Proud Lumad po. Ang Proud Lumad, mapreserbar pa gyud og unsa gyud ang naakaron nga nabilin pa kabilin sa mga katigulangan nga amo pang maika-share sa kadaghanan sa kabatan-unan sa puhon. Mao na among gatan-awon sa layo og sa puhon nga makit-an pa nila og unsa among nakit-an sa pagkakaron nga ilang kabilin sa katigulangan para sa amo. Isa pod sa amo diri kay ang embrace authenticity lagi, so gawas atong pag-preserve sa culture nga anaa pa karon. Ang among mga products diri kung makita ninyo sa akong likod na mga painting, so gi-invite pod namo ang uban pod nga mga local artist para pod ilang maipasundayag pod og unsa pod ang ilang kaya ipakita. So mo na among naka-display, isa pod ana nga makatabang pod mi sa ilaha. Ang Kalandang Weavers, just like na diri na yung mga product pod, ang Kalandang Weavers from Minta pod. So layo na kay na sila dinhi, far-flung areas na gid na sila. Pero nadala namo ilang produkto diri, nagkakita sila kay para ang amo tabang lang gid pa pod sa ilaha nga mo kita sila nga napoy ilang abot pod.
Atong laago ang tribus Bukidnon.
In behalf pod siguro sa mga lumad nga nabilin diri sa Bukidnon, nga proud lumad, mapasalamaton kay mi kay isa gyud ang gobyerno nga naghatag og panahon para mapreserba ug unsa pa ang naa sa amo diri. Dayon isa pod ana nga mong nagpabilin pa gyud ang pagka-authentic sa Bukidnon kay daghan kay mga advocate po diri nga mga low-key lang gyud kay sila nga gatabang sila para lang gyud dili mawala, mapadayon og mapreserba ang kultura nga naa pa sa amoa. Ang pinakanindot gyud sa Bukidnon is ang amo gyung kultura. Walay kapariha, walay pwede mo awat kay kamera nga festival sa tibuok Pilipinas, ang non-religious na festival. Mo na among gusto i-preserve pa gyud. Kay lahi ra gyud og naa ka sa Bukidnon. Nindot gyud kayo ang Bukidnon nga bisitahon.
I'm going to be honest. I had never heard of the Monastery of Transfiguration in Malaybalay. It's a Benedictine monastery known for its pyramid-shaped church designed by national artist Leandro Locsin. That alone is reason enough to visit. It's the perfect backdrop for a spiritual retreat. Established in 1983, the abbey is meant to look like a Filipino bahay kubo come church. It's quite impressive. But that's not the most intriguing story here. We heard of a once prominent fashion designer who eventually became a monk.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Transfiguration.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, please
Erwan,
come in.
Nice
Yeah.
to meet you.
Oh,
Sorry,
thank you.
what do I call you? What's your
Dom Martin.
Dom Martin.
Dom Martin. Dom is the traditional way of addressing the monks.
Okay. Gang Gomez was once the most sought-after designer, along with Joe Salazar or Ino Soto. He was known for his embroidery and his use of indigenous materials like piña and abaca. He closed down his shop in Manila in the 1990s when he decided to join this monastery, which had been a dream of his since he was a teenager. A couple of years later, he took up another challenge. He was tasked with designing a 50-piece collection of garments for the Eucharistic celebrations using fabrics woven by the indigenous tribes of the Philippines. He was given 2 years to complete the collection in time for the nation's centennial independence celebration.
I was a fashion designer for 20 years. I had to stop designing first while I was under formation.
Okay.
But as soon as I was solemnly professed, I was immediately asked to start teaching at the Institute of Liturgy on the enculturation of vestments.
Okay.
The students started to ask samples of what a Filipino vestment should look like.
You contributed a lot to this?
I designed all of this.
You did? Incredible.
Yes, yeah. Nothing's ever really lost. People were saying when I entered the monastery, sayang, had a good career, that he gave it up. It was just a preparation for what I will be doing later on for the church.
Amazing. So have these been worn?
Yes, in fact,
they
this
do?
was
Okay.
worn by the Pope's delegate last July. This was designed for Cardinal Tagle when he was the main celebrant here.
Just like how many tribes around the country indigenize Christianity or Islam, integrating religious beliefs and practices with indigenous traditions, customs, and values, this work showcases how there can be beauty in partnership.
We started with just 7 hectares. Now, after more than 40 years, this is a little over 100 hectares.
Wow. So here, the products that you make are coffee,
Basically,
peanut.
coffee. A foreigner came in, looked at the hill that was with coffee trees all in bloom, and he said, "Why don't you roast your own
Roast them.
coffee and sell it as roasted beans?" I said, "We don't know
How to do that.
He said, "Let me teach the monks." I said, "You can buy my old machine, pay me when you can."
So
That's why I said,
blessing.
he was really a blessing.
Yeah. Monasteries, similar to other institutions, require funding to sustain their operations, which include maintaining their facilities and grounds and supporting charitable and educational endeavors. As such, many abbeys have different products they produce. In Belgium, some of them make beer. Others generate income from tourism. Here, they roast their own coffee. After the training and setting up their operations, Dom Martin took a few trips to the capital and went door to door to various retailers to try and get their product on the shelves. Eventually, some large supermarkets started carrying them. The pandemic derailed their plans a little, but you can support them by looking out for Monk's Blend in specialty shops or digital stores. I really, truly enjoyed that. I think spiritual tourism, pilgrimages are becoming things that people kind of search for. These places have a lot of history. And this abbey specifically, why it's so interesting is because it shows you how you can integrate indigenous cultures into religion and how these two worlds can kind of work together and how they can both be uplifted by those shared commonalities. We spent more time than expected with Dom Martin. I was just in awe of his colorful life story. We were running a little late, so our options for food were thinning out. A local follower was kind enough to point us to Watin's, where they kept a portion of their beef halang-halang for us, a slightly spicy and sour soup usually made with lots of offcuts of meat, stewed for hours.
Kasi noon, hindi pa kami nakasiguro kami sa Panginoon ba, magkaganito kami. Maliit lang yung pag-umpisa namin. Araw yon ng bagong taas, yun nagsimula. Pumatok yung sabaw namin, ito. Ito na ang result sa pagtiyaga namin ng nagbinta ng sabaw. Ito yung laman ng baka, lagyan namin ng egg. Mayroon kaming liver steak na baka. paklay, kaya lang naubos na. Mayroon kaming mga dilis, lumpia, ganyan. Naubos na lahat. Apelido yan ng asawa ko kasi Watin's Eatery pa noon. Ginawa na naming restaurant kasi sabi ng mayor namin, established na kami. Yung pag-serve namin, ma'am, kami talaga yung mag-serve. Yung asawa ko nagluluto, ako ang mag-serve. Entertain talaga ako, sabihan ko talaga na masarap. I-try nyo. Yan. Unless of din kami, ma'am, walang limit.
This looks interesting. This is what comfort usually looks like to me. Something just beautifully soupy. So this was recommended to us. It is a little late, so obviously the production is pretty much done, but it does get apparently really packed during the day. I go in all the time when it comes to really like rich collagen-y soups, and I can see it happening here, so I'm really happy. And there's a fried egg in the soup, which makes me even happier. You can tell there's like a deep bone broth flavor, something that's been on the stove for a long, long time. Usually in these type of places, what I love particularly is if something's being cooked all day, the product you get in the morning is very different from the product you get at night because the flavor intensifies as you cook it down, and then usually there's more water added, and then it cooks down. So if you like places like this, you come at different times during the day and you get different experiences. You got these beautiful bits of collagen and skin kind of floating around. I mean, you love kind of little spots like this that become institutions. It's the best part.
When we were looking for a coffee supplier for our restaurant Chingolo, we knew we wanted to look local. Curve is dedicated to uplifting local communities and advancing the sustainable growth of local specialty coffee. They are thoroughly engaged in the farm-to-cup ethos and collaborate with farmers all around the country. They've set up here around the beautiful Lake Napalit, an area that can grow both Robusta and Arabica beans that are now in high demand. Farming and agriculture are stifled with issues in the Philippines. One of the most pressing ones is that younger generations don't see any future in it. It's ironic. Specialty coffee shops are on the rise in big cities, but farmers are often seen as just suppliers and not part of the whole process. This is where things can and will change. We met brother and sister Eljean and Marvin Dagohoy. Their parents were coffee farmers, but they took things further. They are both certified Q graders, meaning they are skilled in the sensory evaluation of green coffee and have been trained in brewing methods as well. They have an understanding of what customers look for and how they can apply that to their farming practices. They now bring even more value to an already high-value product.
Third generation na kami ng coffee farmers, starting with our lolo. 2012, ang mga kapatid ko, kami yung nagtanim ng puno na sinasaka namin ngayon ng kape. Isang phrase talaga na na-remember ko kay Papa is yung coffee is gold. Hindi namin alam kung ano yun before, but right now, alam na namin kung bakit ginto or magiging treasure yung kape sa family. Kung dito sa Pilipinas, halos lahat kumakain ng bigas. Pero buong mundo, halos lahat nagkakape. Nakita niya na in the long run, magiging in demand yung kape. Right now, dito sa barrio, we have tatlong bumibili ng kape namin. Si Curve, si Co-op, tsaka si Kalsada. Sobrang laking tulong ng tatlong grupo na to sa community. We have now our freedom kung yung i-deliver ba namin is ripe cherries, green beans, o commercial coffee. We have now an avenue kung saan lahat ng kape may tahanan, parang ganun. Nagsimula talaga siya na si Curve is providing us trainings. Good agricultural practices up to post-harvest processing. Yung mga local farmers dito sa community, mas naging invested sila na magtanim ng kape because of those mga bumibili na. Mas maganda yung quality, mas higher yung price. So if we don't adapt to the changes or the modern technology, we will settle pa rin sa commodity price.
In Curve, we do have 16 hectares. All are productive, but we still have 7.5 hectares.
To develop.
develop.
Oh wow. And you both grow exclusively for Curve.
Yes, these farm are for curves, but
Okay.
we have our own farms.
As you manage other farms
Yeah,
also. Oh,
the
nice.
family farm.
Okay.
So in this area, we have 3 varieties, which are Pacamaras. We have sweet coffees, locally known sweet coffees, but it resulted 100% Ethiopian landrace. And we also have a suspected geisha from Baguio.
And these are all subspecies of Arabica.
Arabica.
Arabica. Have you tried trying the fruit?
A
of
fresh
the
coffee bean. Mmm. It's like peppery. The harvesting happens in what months usually?
For Arabica, we have only,
Oh wow. Okay. I didn't know
but
that.
for Robusta, we have for like 2 months.
The yield of Robusta is way higher
Ah,
comparing to a tree of Arabica. A Philippine Robusta has been competing in the market for the prices.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the quality of Philippine Robusta is quite similar to Arabica right now.
Correct. I personally like that we're starting to see a lot of more Robusta, specialty coffee shops. People are becoming more playful with Robusta. So how does it feel as farmers to kind of see people appreciating that?
It's overwhelming, especially comparing before when coffee was just
Like a commodity.
Yeah, commodity.
Yeah, yeah,
No one's appreciating it the way how we appreciate other crops. And now it's crazy.
Nice.
It's crazy. So Nanay Priming and Tatay Freddy.
So they're farmers,
Yes.
but they also do their own,
Yes.
their processing and drying here.
Yes. First, they get the berries and then wash it, clean it, do the flotation. So they have their own small all-weather dryer.
Oh, cool.
This natural process is nice because it still undergoes fermentation on its own while drying, so it has time to develop more flavors.
More complexity,
Yes.
more flavors. Okay. And then depending on the process, the prices change.
No, depending on the quality and the cup score.
Okay. So it really comes down to the cup score at the end
Yes,
of
at
when
the
the
end.
green beans are processed. Moral of the story, guys, when you drink your coffee in the morning, you're not only kind of drinking something that was created by a whole community, but you're creating something that is just so intense. For someone who's an outsider, so difficult to kind of understand. So seeing all this will give you greater appreciation, but that's not only the case for coffee, but absolutely every high value crop or any food that you put in your mouth, really. So stop wasting.
Malayo na. Kung noon, hirap rin talaga kaming makakita ng bibili ng kape sa tamang presyo. Ngayon, nandito na si Curve na tumutulong talaga sa community and a lot of opportunities talaga dumating.
We missed out on so much. Or maybe we did that on purpose so that we would have an excuse to come back. Or maybe that's what Bukidnon is. It's a wide spread of stories, culture, and people who tend to and protect their land. It's not a province filled with monuments and zip lines. It's something that needs to be experienced, felt. As I said in the beginning, when the wind hits your skin, when the sun finally relents, a smile forms, and you just feel content. For now, this is maybe where you're meant to be.